live?
We're live.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm Ellena and we're at the Giving Garden. Things are looking a little different around here. It's Wednesday, August 19th. It's a little bit cloudy, overcast. Megan's here as my camera person.
Hi everyone.
Hi Megan. I'm so glad to be with you here. We've got some mowing happening across the street, which you can't see, but that's maybe why it's got that noise in the background. So today I want to start by acknowledging the land that we're on. We are on this piece of land on Meadow Street in Florence that is now owned by Grocery Northampton. But you know, before this modern concept of ownership, it was for thousands of years stewarded by the Nonotuck people and the Nipmuc and Tecumseh tribes in this area that had a lot of, this was a major thoroughfare for different tribes along the Connecticut River Valley because it was so fertile and like a trading point, and so lots of meetings and gatherings happening in this area.
So cool.
Yeah, and yeah, really, I mean, there's so much more to understand about the timeline of what has happened since like this land became such fertile soil, since Glacial Lake Hitchcock was here and you know, deposited so much rich nutrient materials and minerals, and that we're like still like benefiting, and also we hope that with our practices we are continuing to benefit the life that is here. So you can see I'm in the middle of cover cropping. If the birds don't eat all the cover crop, sometimes you have to scare them away. They're currently eating it.
Uh-oh.
But it's okay.
What kind of cover crop is it today that you're doing?
Oats and peas. I have my little buckets of oats and peas here that I was working with the seeder.
You use both on this one bed?
Yeah, on each bed I do a combination of both. So it's like 3 rows of oats, and I try to squeeze in 5 rows of peas in there, sometimes 4. But I want to make it really tight spacing.
Cool.
Also to account for the fact that the birds will eat some of it. I'm not going to do my chasing method on camera right now. Sometimes I chase the hair. So today I wanted to talk about a flower that's blooming right now that is so special that Megan got this beautiful bouquet. So does anyone who's watching know what this is? If you do, and you want to share, also, yeah, to just think about it. So this is a special plant. It's called Goldenrod. Also, in doing some research about it, I found out, well, so I know that the Latin name is called Solidago, and it has many different, it has about 100 or 120 different species within the genus of Solidago.
Wow.
So there's so many different goldenrods around. So you don't have to necessarily, like, there isn't just one goldenrod here, and they're native to the Northeast, to North America. But Solidago means, any Latin, yeah, or like,
I think it means to make whole,
yeah,
right?
So Solidago, ago is like to make, and solid like comes from, yeah, wholeness, and also if you think of the word solid, if you think of actually to solder something in you know, welding or
solder,
yeah,
solder.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. These words that mean to like fuse, to make whole. So it's yeah, and so I just think that's so beautiful that in that name it like captures some of the meaning of how this plant is used medicinally, and it just clearly has such importance if in that name itself it's recognized that it can be a powerful medicine. Like,
yeah.
So it's used to make whole.
Yeah. So what does it do? What is it good for?
Good for? Well, the problem is that every different source, reading material, book, website, says something different, which makes me sort of understand that it has so many uses. So most commonly, I've heard it used around here in allergy relief. Because
Okay.
actually, it's confused. People think they get allergies from goldenrod hay fever around this time, but it's really from the ragweed that is
Oh,
blooming at the same time, but has like inconspicuous little flowers that get wind pollinated.
got it.
This gets pollinated mostly by insects and little bees, and you were saying that like when you went to harvest it.
Yeah, there's tons of bees and
Yeah,
beetles on it.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think that it's a really important plant for pollinators. I mean, I want to venture a guess that it's like especially for native pollinators because also I know moths and butterflies use it as like a food source in the winter and
Cool.
like make little galls. On the plants. It's such an amazing plant. So right, it's used for allergy relief. I've also saw material that it was used for the liver, used for like as a diuretic, used like to help with the gallbladder.
And skin conditions too, right? Like
Yes.
treating asthma or eczema.
I
Yeah.
think about clearing out.
Yeah.
And like sinuses. So I think I would. I mean, I have a really renewed appreciation for this plant since like doing that more research about its name and like, and also what's amazing is that like within the 100 species of solidago, like they have different kinds of benefits. So this
Cool.
I think this is goldenrod. This is Solidago canadensis, which is like the thing that's
Canadensis.
most commonly around here
Cool.
in the Northeast. But there's also so many different kinds that I don't know the names of, and they're all medicinal in different ways. So like
Okay.
I don't think that there are lookalikes to this plant. So I'm not saying like you're in the clear. Like if you think you see like a small little yellow flowering plant and around this time of
Let
year.
me zoom in on it.
Oh sure, yeah, it's so beautiful. But
Sweet.
it's true that there are lookalikes, but within the realm of goldenrods, if you're clear that and you're with someone who knows that it's a goldenrod, it's safe. It's not like you have to get a specific kind of goldenrod.
Awesome. And how would you harvest it for the medicinal purpose?
Good
That you're
question.
looking for.
I don't know so much because it's actually a plant that I haven't really worked with medicinally before, but I bet Susan at Sawmill Herb Farm, I know she gives goldenrod as part of her herb CSA.
Cool.
And I think that so the flower is the most important, or like is medicinally. But I was reading about how people eat the leaves.
Whoa.
It has a different flavor. So maybe after this we'll try it.
Yeah. Maybe in like
you can eat it
breads
raw.
and cooking. Oh, okay.
I
Eating
think,
it raw.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
We don't
Maybe
know.
we'll fact check that
Yeah,
first.
but I think like they have different flavors, and something I was reading was saying like explore the taste of the leaf of the goldenrod in your area. And, like, they have
Ooh.
like different nuance in the taste.
Yeah. Nikki says, how do you use goldenrod? Can you use it in tea? Probably.
I think so.
Yeah. That'd probably be the flowers, right?
Goldenrod experts, but
Yeah.
yes, probably the flowers. And I think that people make like tincture with it, or you could make tea infusions, like sort of a long steeping tea, like a tea that steeps for a long time. That's any tea that you're working with that like steeps for the longer amount of time. It increases the medicinal value.
Oh, very cool.
Drink. So rather than like a short little steep like your usual kind of after dinner tea, that probably has some medicinal quality to it. Like I don't want to take away from that,
Yeah.
but it definitely doesn't have as much as if you were to do like the overnight steep.
Cool.
But yeah, I think like it is a plant that we have a lot to learn from,
Awesome.
and especially at this time. And I just want to put out a call to like everyone should look out for the yellows and oranges right now because like I don't mean that. I mean the yellows and purples.
Yellows and purples.
Yeah, because
Okay.
the yellows are the goldenrod, and there are more yellows. Like there's sunflowers are blooming in the garden. So many sunflowers.
Woo!
Yeah, we do have a little sunflower jungle over here.
It's an oasis of flowers here.
Yeah, and then the purples of the fall blooming asters and other purples. Purple thistle I saw the other day, and I just think that that's like, yeah, it's just such a marker of this time as we're transitioning seasons right now.
Wow.
So it definitely feels like a transition. We're doing the cover crops for the fall. We're taking out we're taking out cucumber plants tomorrow.
Whoa!
We have another cucumber round that we'll take out maybe in a week or two. So like things are, and we're rolling in the tomatoes. You know, we're just like in the height of the tomatoes, and yeah. So
Sweet.
the crops are changing.
Yeah.
And then one other plant, I just wanted to bring us to this part of our perennial bed right here.
Ooh, there's a lot going on
There
here.
is a lot going on here. This is kind of just like our border bed. It's meant to like serve as when the field trips come, because in any given year we'll have like so many different classes of students come by here, and maybe summer camps in the summer, and different groups that like will engage with the space. And this border bed is just really nice to be able to engage with the echinacea. There's thyme that we'll donate to the kitchen, and we'll donate to different places where they can dry their own thyme. There's also sage. They're small now, but they're gonna grow because they're perennials. And then our rhubarb, which is really actually just off the charts right now.
So big.
So
For reference here.
yeah, let's just go to our to this one. So I just snuck in a few other plants that I wanted to add them to the mix. So I had some blank spots, and we had also these herb donations all came from Sawmill Herb Farm.
Thank you, Sawmill.
Yeah, so great that we could get their end of the season, the end of the season hodgepodge of different herbs, and we can add them to our mix. And this is a donation that I think I actually got from the Pioneer Valley Workers Center.
Ooh, thank you.
Yeah, someone who has a plot here. Gabriella gave me some plants, and they were extras that they weren't able to plant on the farm. And
So what is it?
it's husk cherry.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's one of my faves. Super cool plant in the nightshade family, in the Solanaceae family. That's with the tomatoes are in that family. What else is in that family? Eggplant. Yeah, husk cherry. Anyone tried husk cherry? You could leave a comment on what you think. It's probably one of those plants that like maybe either love it or you don't love it.
I love it. I remember one time I mistakenly ate a tomatillo thinking it was a husk cherry, and I was so surprised by the difference in taste. Yeah, very disappointed.
Yeah. Well, they have this beautiful little lantern, and inside the lantern, when the lantern turns yellow, this is probably like the cusp of the of readiness. Inside, it's this beautiful golden, just a little underripe, and they're sometimes called ground cherries because I read that like because they fall to the ground when they're ripe. So the little lanterns.
So these ones here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Right. So let's see. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good color.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna try this from off camera.
What does it taste like? It's kind of sweet, right?
Yeah, it's like a cross. It's like pineapple-y, orangey,
got some
fruity,
citrus tones.
in the tropics a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah, they eat this plant. Well, husk cherries are popular in Brazil. I think that's maybe even where they're native to.
Very cool.
South America. I know when at a time when I was living in South America in Peru, you could find husk cherries dried a lot in a lot of the markets.
Whoa.
Or at least some of the markets. Dried husk cherries were really popular.
That's
not
sweet.
fresh. Yeah, they were amazing. So this is like our little piece of like tropical plant life within our, northeast New England harsh climate. So we get that short little window of time where we get to have husk cherries before it gets too cold.
Yeah, and it's a treat for all the volunteers at this time, the heat of the season.
Right, exactly. So we have these plants that are the herbs where we can donate to all our partners, and then the husk cherries or other little smatterings of other plants where we like to have a treat for, volunteers who come and spend their mornings here harvesting, or the interns, or any visitor who's coming through the space. So that they also get a chance to engage with the space, and it's not just like a one type of engagement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like we got a lot going on here. We want people to be able to enjoy it and like participate in it, and help us and help work and feel like they can be a part of it.
And how can one get involved?
Yeah, good question. Well, so we have on the Growth of Northampton website, we have a volunteer submission form, and you can sign up to to volunteer with your interest, and you can specifically say that the Giving Garden is your interest. Yeah, or you can contact anyone at Grow Food Northampton. We'll direct you to the right place.
Very
We're
cool.
a small enough team that that will make it happen. But we have 3 times a week we have volunteers at the Giving Garden.
Sweet.
Yeah, and before we know it, we're gonna be putting all these crops and beds to rest and for the winter, and then we're gonna be planting garlic. We got all our garlic ready for planting. I know that it's months from now. We don't need to think that far ahead, but
What do you have to do to prep it?
well, most importantly, you have to pick the biggest and nicest looking cloves.
Okay.
So I picked the biggest heads that I had, and I picked and I know the amount of pounds that I need to plant for 3 beds. So I saved 30 pounds, which is
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of garlic.
It's a conservative estimate of how much I need.
Yeah.
We grew 100 pounds of garlic, so I'm able to give away 70 pounds.
Sweet.
To the different places. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I know Starlight Center, we give some garlic to them, and then they actually plant it. So they don't only use it, but they get to plant it so that they get to have it.
That's awesome.
CSO Respite is also doing that, and yeah. So
Very cool.
We get to pass on these garlics, and then there's more garlics that are gonna adapt to different little microclimates, and yeah, keep going on.
Very cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Sweet.
Okay, well, thank you all for watching.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
On this lovely, cool Wednesday. Yeah, look at our asparagus. Just a big bush.
It's beautiful.
No, it's so beautiful. I love it. Okay, see you next time.
See you.
Okay,
Bye
bye.
everyone.